Hello everybody, welcome to Totally Tabled. My name is Shaggy, and today I'm doing a sponsored solo playthrough of Primal: The Awakening. The publisher Reggie Games has paid me to make this video to tell you about the Primal Boutique web store, where you'll be able to pre-order Primal and the expansions, as well as find out all sorts of information about the game. You just need to go to reggiegames.com or click on the link in the description below. This time around, I'm tackling the October challenge scenario, Sandstorm. If you don't know about these monthly challenges, go check out my playthrough of challenge number 1, Trial by Fire. And if you don't know how to play Primal, check out my original tutorial video where I go over all of the rules. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on playing the game rather than teaching. In Sandstorm, we face off against Dygorax at aggression level 1. The wind shifts without warning. Dygorax unleashes its wrath from the heavens upon the desert sands. Its storm tears through the hunters, scattering them apart. The dragon brings blood and isolation. Today I'm playing with Mira and Darian, and I've set them up using a pre-constructed loadout provided by the publisher specifically for the scenario. Hopefully that will give me a fighting chance, but I doubt it. Now, before we get started, we need to deal with some of the special rules that are part of this challenge. The first says, the sandstorm reshapes the desert. The dunes take on the form of massive golden beasts, trapping you between their scorching, grainy jaws. At the start of your turn, place a sand terrain in your sector. If there's already a sand terrain in your sector, place a dust token instead, max 2 dust tokens per sector. It takes 1 extra stamina to move off of sand terrain, and dust makes it harder to avoid attrition damage. You'll see this in action in just a minute. It then says you are utterly alone in the desert. You cannot see your comrades, and their voices are swallowed by the wind. Players in a sector with a sand terrain cannot perform assist. So for this challenge scenario, the sand is also going to keep us from assisting each other. Now, you might have noticed that we have 2 wild maw plants on the field. If you are threatened and in the same space as one, you will suffer a damage at the end of your turn. Now, as far as Dygorax itself is concerned, we need to start with a dust token in the front sector, which I've already done. And they start with the number of players minus 1 struggle, so they're going to start with 1 struggle right there. Other than that, I have everything already set up, so let's just go ahead and dive right in and get started and play. Now, we start with the consume phase, and normally I wouldn't consume anything in the first round, but I've taken a look at Darian's starting hand, and he has quite the starting hand. So I think we're going to start off by consuming this Hatrox. This is going to give Darian's weapon plus 3 damage for the entire round, but he is going to have to suffer 1 damage. For monster upkeep, they're going to get 2 additional struggle. And now Darian gets to begin his turn. The first thing he does is place a sand terrain token in his space, which I've already done. And Darian started with 2 of these really powerful attack cards. So we're going to try to do a ton of damage here using this potion. But unfortunately, to pull it off, he's going to have to stay here and not move. Because of the sand token, it would take 2 stamina to move away, and that's not going to work. So he's going to become threatened, and he's going to pay the price for this, but I think it might be worth it in the long run. Now, the first thing he's going to do is play a pressing strike. That will cost 2, but we can reduce the struggle by 1 and draw 2 cards. Okay, nothing too exciting there. We're just going to go ahead and go with our plan, which is to battle cry. That's free, and we're doing 5 damage plus the 3, so that's 8 damage. You can see it takes 5 times the number of players, so 10 damage in order to cause a wound. And you can see we can hit them basically in any direction at this point on stance 1. And now we're going to hit with a really powerful attack. Our massive strike, and this is a finisher. Now, because of the battle cry, we do have Berserker. Oh, wait, but before we do that, hold on. Run that back. Before we play Battle Cry, we should have flipped over this card. It says Armoring. The monster's ivory skin thickens until it becomes harder than stone. So it's going to spend 2 struggle, which it has, in order to increase its hardening level by 1. So it has a little hardening track right here. Once that track gets to 3, it will be in a hardened state. And I'll explain what that means once it gets there, but it's bad. We'd like to try to keep it from getting to that state if possible. And now, after we played Battle Cry, there we go, we have 2 of those, so now he reacts to this one. This is Dragon's Roar. Okay, so Dygorax gains 2 struggle and gets +1 attack damage till the end of the round. Place a dust token in the aggro player's sector. Okay, so we can have a max of 2 dust tokens there, and so we've hit that max. And now we're going to play our big attack, our massive strike. We could only play this after we played a red card, so we've accomplished that. And because of our Battle Cry, we are in a Berserker state, which means we get to draw a card when we play a red card. Now, I'm going to pay for this card before I do that, and that's going to take 4 stamina, which is my entire hand. Then I'll draw this card. This is going to increase the attack damage by 5. So we're doing 8 plus 5, 13 damage. 2 of that will bring it to 10. And then there's going to be another 11 on top of that. So that's going to be 2 wounds, with 1 damage left over. And as you can see here, that's going to immediately bring them into stance 2. Now, if you look on their card here, they have the keyword resistant. And that means that when they change stances, any leftover damage goes away. So this 1 damage goes away. And we're going to move to stance number 2. It says that when revealed, place a fire terrain in the front sector. Front sector is getting a little busy right now. And if you look here, these 2, I haven't even talked about them yet, but they're permanent. So they're going to stay in place, and we're going to get an extra one here. So now the monster is going to harden anytime a player suffers attrition damage, as well as at the start of each round. So they're going to be hardening up pretty quick. But one way we can reduce their hardening track is by attacking them in the tail. Okay, now that does trigger a reaction. Voice of Destruction. The active player suffers damage unless they discard a yellow card from their hand. Well, we drew a green card, so not a yellow card. And if we remember correctly, they have a +1, so now they're actually doing 3 damage because of the 2. Whoa. So we started at 12 health, we're all the way down to 8 immediately, and it's only going to get worse. Now we have to do attrition, and they are threatened. Okay, so the 2, we take the worst one. They played 0 defensive cards. Oh no, I've made a horrible mistake. He's taking 3 damage from this attrition. And as we saw from this, they're going to gain 1 hardening. Wow, this potion's used up. Oh my goodness. Over half their health is gone like that. And one thing I should note is because of our armor here, we have Iron Leaf armor and an Iron Leaf helm. For the helm, when the monster suffers a wound, we can grab a attack card from our discard pile and shuffle it back into our deck. And with our armor, when we suffer an attack, we can do that. Now, we don't have an attack card in our discard pile yet. And these cards don't come into our discard pile until the end of our turn. So we don't get to use those yet, but those will be handy in the future. But we do get to trigger our special ability here because we have the Berserker. And it says that when your health becomes critical, place a counter on this card, and it only needs one counter to flip. Critical is when your health is half or less. So we can flip that. As the Berserker, when we're focused, we can heal 1. And when we enter a Berserker state, we can also heal 1. And our weapon does +2 damage. So now our weapon is doing 7 damage. That's incredible. Okay, so since we just got focused, we can heal 1. I'm going to place 2 of these right here just to remind me that my weapon is now doing 7 damage. We now discard. Draw back up. It would turn to the aggro player, but we're right in front of it. And we are threatened, and we ended our turn with this Wild Maw, so we are going to take another damage. Man. So Darian did 2 wounds, but paid the price. Don't know if that was worth it, but now it's Mira's turn. Okay, right off the bat, we're going to have a reaction. Dragonfire. Increase the hardening level by 1 and place a dust token in the front sector. Max 2 dust. Okay, so we already are at our max. But the monster is now hardened. Basically, that means that they cannot be stunned, confused, or be made to be vulnerable. And anytime you cause a wound, it causes all of the damage to be erased. In other words, no excess damage carries over when you inflict a wound. That could be very annoying. Oh my goodness, and now it's going to spend 2 struggle in order to place a fire terrain in the aggro player's sector. Players in that sector suffer burning. Oh my goodness. So for burning, we're going to place this token on our board, and when our deck runs out, we're going to suffer 1 damage. It's basically a damage per weapon level. Well, this is going great so far. But we get to move. Yay. We're in sand. We've got to move because of the fire. Now, there's a couple of things about Mira's setup. One, we have this tusk bow, which is increasing our hand size by 1. So she gets to have 6 cards in her hand rather than 5. We also have this awesome feathered coat. And this says that when we move, if we're not the aggro player, which we aren't, we can reveal a green card from our hand and ignore movement cost. So I can just show acrobatics and we can move for free. This feathered coat is going to be amazing for this scenario. Trying to figure out what we want to do here. I think we might just want to attack, attack, attack. Okay, actually, I think I'm going to play evasion. And I'm going to discard Deadly Shot for the 2 cost. That's going to let me draw 2. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I'm going to play Acrobatics. That's going to cost 2. And then I'll play Combined Assault for 1. We'll discard that. So this is going to do a couple of things. First, it's going to let me recycle 1. So I will discard this to draw 1. And then Acrobatics, because I played like this, it's going to let me draw 3 cards. And immediately move without paying any stamina cost. Oops. Move the wrong figure there. So that's going to get us all the way behind. Okay, I'm now going to play Silent Arrow. Can't play this while the aggro player, but we're not. That's going to do 3 damage. And because we're behind, that's going to reduce their hardening. So now they're no longer hardened. I think I'll play Backflip That's going to let me draw an extra card when I refill my hand at the end of the turn. So we'll start next turn with 7 cards. And there we go. That is the maximum number of cards that you can play in your sequence. So we're going to do attrition. It's a 1, completely covered, lots of defense there, so no problem there. She still has 3 cards in her hand, so gonna get a stamina token here. And gonna refill +1. This triggers at the end of the round. Dust attack. Each player in a sector with a dust token suffers an attack +1. Targeted players may discard a green card from their hand to have that damage. Well, Darian does have a green card, so they will discard that. So they would be taking 4 damage, but now it's going to be 2. They're down to 3 health. This has been a disaster. Wow. Discard all the dust. Fire goes to yellow. On to round 2. Now at the start of the round, they're going to gain a hardening. So they're back to being hardened. And something I forgot to do, that when Darian took a wound there, he can actually place a red card back into his deck and shuffle it. So let's go ahead and place that massive... No, let's place the Battle Cry, actually. Ooh, do we want to place the Massive Strike or the Battle Cry? The Battle Cry gives him Berserker, which will let him heal, so I'm going to put this back in. And we just shuffle it into his deck. Okay, so consume phase. Definitely going to consume his Aylmore. That's going to let him heal 4. So 7 health left now, a little bit better. Monster's getting 2 struggle. And this goes away. Okay, when the behavior deck is empty, you immediately reshuffle, and they get a struggle. And for goodness sakes, we're starting in his front sector, so we have another reaction. This is getting ridiculous. Burning Eye, they're going to get 2 struggle, and luckily they're not in stance 3, so we're not going to get a fire. That's good. Now a dust gets put in there. And finally, we get to move. Oh my. So we have to spend 2 stamina, but we can get out of there. And we don't have many cards to play with here. Only 3. What do we do? What do we do? Tell you what, let's play Aggressive Charge. Oh, and we remove Threaten because we moved. That's going to give them Berserker. And when we enter Berserker, we get to heal 1. Let's then play Blind Rage. Because we're in Berserker, we played a red card. We get to draw a card. We're doing 7 damage. So they're now at 10. Oh, this also reduces this by 1. Can't forget that. And we played 2 offensive cards, so we get this reaction. Dragon's Roar. Gains, okay. Gains 2 struggle and gets +1 until the end of the round. Man. Place a dust token in the aggro player's sector. I'll put this +1 token here to remind us. Wow, so it's going to unleash on us, and we're each going to do 3 damage. Oh, man. This is rough. And then it goes down to 2. We cannot let that happen. think I am going to play Endurance here. I'll spend this card, and we're focused, so that's going to let us draw 2 instead of just 1. Well, I think that's all we can do. Unfortunately, because of the dust, we're going to get hit with attrition. Yeah. Oh, man. And that's 3 damage. So down to 2. Oh, no. So yeah, because we have 2 cards or more in our hand, we do get stamina. Refill. It is really not going well. But now Mira gets to go. Last sand token goes down. Oh, wait. It has to turn. So that means this will trigger. Wing attack. Place a dust token in each of the flank sectors. Each player in those sectors suffers an attack unless they reveal 2 defense cards from their hand. All right. Now I'm pretty sure she'll be able to do that. Oh yeah, for sure. Now she's going to move, show a green with her feathered coat so she doesn't have to pay anything. That is incredible. That coat has become my favorite thing. Okay, yeah, we want to start with Take Aim. That's going to cost 1. So we're going to discard this, and this says that when you discard this card from your hand, draw 1. Boom. And now we can search our discard pile for a card with aim. And so I'm going to grab the Silent Arrow, has aim at the bottom. Okay, and we're going to use that card. Silent Arrow, it has stealth, so that means it won't trigger that card. Oh no, actually it won't. It won't trigger either of those cards because it's stealth. So that's incredible. We're not the aggro player, so that's all good. We're going to be doing 3 damage. That's 13. That's 1 away from causing a wound, but we do decrease its hardening. So now it's no longer hardened. That's huge. We're now going to do Blinding Shot, which is also stealthy. We're going to discard Mid-Air Shot. Oh, actually, no, we're not. We're going to discard Accurate Shot. So we're doing 3 more damage. 1 is going to bring it to a wound. Two left over, and we get to have that because we decreased it from being hardened. And it says if your previous card has aim, you can now inflict blind. Also, we reduce the hardening again, and I can place this on one of these peril cards. Well, the round is about to end, so let's do that one. And because of our reef-bound plate here, we get to heal 1 when we inflict a wound. So that's handy. Okay, now what? Oh, but I did forget here, when we inflict blind, we get to put a token on this. So we need 2 of those. I don't know, I think we might just want to hold on to our cards here. There's nothing I really want to play at this moment. You know what? I am going to play. I'm going to play this. I'm going to discard this one. And it says that when you discard this card from your hand, deal your weapon damage. So we're going to deal 3 more. It's going to let us draw a card. And with this card, it says that when we play a defensive card, I can recycle this card from my hand, which I think I'd like to do. It's going to give me a little bit more defense here, but we are going to trigger this. Pressure. Dygorax gains 2 -1 struggle, so 1. Go to 3. The active player suffers a damage unless they play a defense as their next card in their sequence. That's annoying, but I will. No, I actually forgot about this token here, so I'm going to use this token when I play this card, rather than discarding this. And so we're going to say I didn't do those 3 damage. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense because now I have these 3 cards. I'll get it back. Okay, totally covered. Now we got to discard our cards from our sequence. Then we draw. So we're going to have to shuffle. And when that happens, we're going to take 1 damage plus another damage because of the burning. Okay. Draw 2 more. Oh, no, just 1 more. And there we go. That's the end of the round. This doesn't happen because they're blind. This goes away. But this triggers. Each player in a sector with a dust token suffers... Oh no, this again. So they were at 3 plus 1, so that's going to be 4 damage. Unless we can show a green card. And actually discard a green card, which he cannot. So that's 4 damage. That is going to take him down. So Darian has fallen. Okay, so let's go over the rules for being KO'd. We remove all damage and tokens off of the hunter board. The aggro is going to go over to the other player. We lay the figure down to show that they've been KO'd. We also discard their hand of cards. And we're going to add one of their wound cards into their deck, and then we're just going to shuffle up to create a new deck. That wound card is just sort of gumming up the works a little bit. We then need to take this deplete token and put it either on our helm or our armor. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the helm there. Now, rather than having 12 health points, we're only going to have 7. We then place this KO on the red side on their board. When their turn comes back around, we'll flip it over to the black side. And then when their turn comes back around again, we'll remove this, they'll stand up. That'll be their whole turn, and then they'll get to start taking turns again. So it's really like missing 2 full turns. Now we can speed up that process a little bit by doing a revive action, but we'll get to that if I decide to do that. Lastly, the monster is going to now turn to the new aggro player. And there we go. That was the dust attack. We now can do the end of round cleanup here. This fire goes away. Dust goes away. And there we go, on to round 3. I think during the consume phase, Mira will take her potion. And we have a 1 there on top of the attrition deck, so she can heal 4. At the behavior refresh, all of these are 4s, so that's all the lowest number, so they're all going to get discarded. We have to shuffle up the deck, so they get a struggle. Because now, going to get 2 struggle. And that's going to cause an attack of 2. Now that's not going to affect Darian while he's KO'd. And now it's time for the player phase. I think the first thing that happens is a dust token gets put out, and then this is going to trigger. Okay, it's Dragon Fire. Increase the hardness level by 1 and place a dust token in the sector. And then they're going to do the bonus. Place a fire terrain in the aggro player's sector. Players in that sector suffer burning. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that is not what that is. Hold on. I did that wrong. This is the card that should trigger, not that one. That one triggers next. So let's see what this one is first. Burning Eye. Okay, he gains 2 struggle. And it's not in stance 3 yet. Okay. So that would trigger first, then this. Okay, there we go. Now she needs to move out of there, and she can't use her feathered coat anymore because she is aggro. So let's discard this. It says that when you discard this from your hand, deal your weapon damage. We'll move away from that. And now she has a bunch of attack. Let's do Precision Shot. It has Stealth. And it's going to cost 2. So we'll put these 2 in. It says to increase the damage done by 2 for each card in our discard pile with the word aim. And we've managed to get 3 cards in there with aim. So that's going to be 6 extra. Plus the 3, that's 9. 9 plus 5 is exactly 14. It's going to cause an exact wound. And when we inflict a wound, we get to heal 1. Let's do Precision Draw. We'll discard... Oh, actually, we can discard this. We can save that. That'll be 3 more damage. But we're going to trigger that. Armoring. Okay, so it's hardening. And now we got to do attrition. Definitely get hit for 2. All right. Turns to us. Now it's Darian's turn. We just flip that over. That's the end of the round. Okay, nothing goes off there. Oh, we remove this. So at the start of the new round, it would harden more, but it's already at its max hardening, so it can't do any more. Okay, I think I'm not going to consume anything. This goes away. At the start of my turn, this is on the top of my discard pile, so I get to draw 2 cards. Let's spend this to move. And I've got a lot of red here. Let's play Cover Fire. That's going to do 3. We'll then play Blinding Shot. Discard that. That's stealth, so that's not going to affect that. That's 3 more, that's 9. And then we have this combined assault. It says that when a player plays 2 red in a row, you may discard this card from your hand to inflict blind. I'll just put it on there. And now that's 2 tokens on my silencer. So this becomes focused. And it says that when a behavior card is revealed, you may discard a card with aim from your hand to cancel the effects of that behavior card. Max once per round. So that's going to help. Now, I don't have a card with aim in my hand at the moment, but that might help in the future. Let's do an evasion. I'll spend this for the 2. And I can now draw 2 cards. Okay, I'll play this for a little extra defense. And then I think we're good. We're going to hold on to those 2 cards, and we're done. So attrition, there's no dust, so we have 2 defense. And of course it's the 3. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we're taking 2 more damage. We have 2 cards, so we get that, and then 4 more. Man, brutal. Gonna turn. Darian, we remove this. He stands back up. We draw our hand of cards. And then that's it. That's our turn. Yep, all the dust goes away. The fire burns out. Round 5. Oh, Mira's the first player. Okay, we're in the consume phase. I think, yeah, let's get a defense token. A little extra protection. And no, I think we'll hold off here. So that's our consume. That goes. We need to add a dust. And I think I'm not going to move. I'm just going to stay right here. So we're threatened. And we're going to have a little bit of a defensive turn. We're in a range here where we can't play red cards, red attack cards. So we're just going to defend. We're going to start here by playing Graceful Defense. I'll spend this. That's reducing the cost of every defensive card. So that one's now free. Draw 1 card. And I will go ahead and recycle that. Also play this for free. I'm going to choose a player to draw a card. I'm going to let Darian draw a card. Also going to play Take Aim to search my deck for a card that has aim on it. Okay, I'll take that one. Okay, and I think I'm going to hold on to the rest of these. So I will be getting that. There is a dust, so I really only have 3 defense for the attrition. And I am threatened, so I gotta draw 2. Okay, I'm covered. Gonna discard these. And then I have to shuffle. So I'm gonna take 1 damage plus 1 for this, so I'm taking 2. Then I think this comes off. All right, now it's Darian's turn. Finally, he's back on his feet. Another dust gets added, and he needs to move away. So let's do that. And now it's time to hit, and hit hard. Let's play a little endurance. Discard that and draw 2. That was good. We also have this defense token. So right now we're at 2 defense. Yeah, I think we should do this. So let's go Blind Rage. 7 damage. That's going to be a wound. Because it's hardened, we lose all the excess. And now let's do our massive strike. That costs 4, which I have here. And I'm paying with an attack card, so my gauntlet will actually activate, I think, for the first time. That's going to deal an additional 2. So that's 9. And this card will trigger, but I am going to use my Silencer ability. When a behavior card is revealed, I can discard a card with aim from my hand to cancel the effect. So, oh, well, we don't want it to get the struggle because it's going to hit us. Yeah, I'm going to cancel the effect of that. I'll discard this one, and it says when I discard this card from my hand, draw 1. Perfect. Okay, we gotta shuffle this. We're gonna get hit anyway, but... So now he does become the aggro player, unfortunately. But he has this, so he has 2 defense and no dust. Okay, so he's covered. Great. End of the round. This gets activated. Each player in a sector with a dust token suffers 3 damage. Player may discard from their hand to have that damage. I'm not sure if that's rounded up or down. I'll assume it's rounded up because I can't really find out where that would be. Dust goes away. Down to round 6. I don't think we're consuming. Goes away. And now we're going to get hit. So 2 damage. Oops. 2 more. That gets me to 11. So I have 1 health left. Yikes. Darian's the first player. Dust. Okay. What can we do? What can we do? Things are looking a little dire. Now we gotta move. We don't have to move, but we should move. Okay, let's do this. So this is gonna get us to Berserker. That lets us heal 1. We do 7 damage. And we're going to move to stance 3. Okay, so a 3rd permanent peril comes into play. Wow. So while hardened, which he is, only his backside is exposed. So we can only play red cards onto his backside now. That's crazy. That'd be a great card to put some blind onto. Now here, when revealed, each player in a sector with dust would have taken damage, but no one's in a sector with dust, so we're good. Now doing 3 damage per hit. Ooh, boy. And we have this card. The active player suffers a wound unless they discard a yellow card from their hand. Okay, I don't have a yellow card. I think we're going to have to use Silencer on this, because we can't have Darian taking damage right now. To keep that from happening. Frankly, I don't think he wants to play any of these. So he's going to hold on to these. Now, he did cause a wound, so he can shuffle a red card back into his deck. Okay, let's shuffle this one back in. And he's going to take attrition damage, though. Didn't have any defensive cards in his hand, and no real way to draw any. Takes 3 hits. Oh my gosh. Oh boy, this is kind of hopeless. Okay, draw 2 more. And I just realized when I use this silencer card, I can't just discard any card. It has to have aim on it. So I couldn't discard this one. I'll discard this instead. And I think I'm not going to move. I'm just going to keep this threatened token because this is the only place I can hit right now. Annoyingly. There's not much I can do here. I'm going to play this. Or rather, sorry. Start that over. I'm going to start with this. And then I'll play this, which is stealth, so it won't trigger that. So that's going to be 3 plus 2, 5 damage because of Sharp Shot. And I wish I could draw the aggro, but I can't. Okay, now I'll play this. Okay, I can discard this. Draw 1. Trigger this. Gonna get 2 struggle. And then the active player suffers damage unless they can play a defensive card as their next card in their sequence. And I can do that. I'll play that. Probably not going to be enough defense because of this dust, so I really have 1 defense, and I'm drawing 2 aggro cards, but let's hope. Oh, that's 0. If that's a 1, we're good. Oh, yes. So we're not going to take any aggro damage. That's amazing. Or attrition damage, that is. That's the end of the round. Dust goes away. None of that triggers. We're not consuming. So that's bad. It goes to 4. Oh, that might be game over. That is game over. Dang. Gonna get 2. That's 6. Gonna hit us. 3 gets KO'd. 3 gets KO'd, and that's it. Woo! So we weren't even really close on this one. Wow. Absolutely demolished. But there you go. That was a complete solo play of Sandstorm. That is challenge number 2 for Primal the Awakening. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.